wife, mother 4. I got this. I use that phrase to describe myself, as well as to remind myself that I have the strength to tackle whatever task is at hand. My husband and I married when we were young, and soon afterward he joined the Army, and he left. So I was already experiencing a life on my own, and our married life it wasn't the same as other marriages that I had experienced while we were growing up, because we were living apart. But at this time, I was also learning how to be on my own and become more independent, and waited for him to get home. When he got home from basic training, it was time for our big move to Fort Stewart, Georgia, which was a place I had never heard of. Soon after arriving at Fort Stewart, it was time for us to get ready for our first child to be born. My destiny with motherhood was at hand. My expectations of having this child were these pretty pictures in my mind, but it turned out to be something totally different. My husband was in the field, of course, which was kind of the norm for our life at that time. And he told me, babe, if you ever need anything, call this number. Somebody will always be there. So my labor started like at 11 o'clock at night, and of course he was in the field. And I was like, okay. It never occurred to me to call my mother to find out, ask her questions about labor or whether or not I should go to the hospital. Instead, I called this number that he told me to call, and nobody answered the phone. It was awful. Yeah. So I got out my handy-dandy book for families new to Fort Stewart and called Division Staff Duty.
They're always there.
That's right. And as a private's wife, I had no idea the number that I was calling, what that meant. However, they did answer the phone, and my inclinations were right. They did know who to call. They did know how to react to what I was needing. About 45 minutes later, my husband's first sergeant called and said, "Ma'am, are you in labor?" I said, "I think so." And he said, "Not to worry. We'll get your soldier in. We'll get your soldier." And about an hour later, Steve called. Steve called me, and he said, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm at home. Where are you?" He said, "I'm at the hospital. Where are you?" He didn't sound very happy. So I found out that a soldier had driven him to the hospital. He said, and he expected me to have gone to the hospital at this point. He didn't think I'd be sitting at home. So he asked me, "Are you going to come to the hospital?" I said, "Aren't you going to come and get me?" He said, "You have my car." So here I am at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's pitch dark outside. It's raining. I'm driving myself to the hospital, and I'm crying. And in my mind, I'm screaming, saying, "This isn't how it's supposed to be. He's supposed to be driving me to the hospital with my little suitcase instead of driving myself." This has taught me that it was a very, very funny experience, and it taught me as a new Army wife to not have grand expectations about how things should be. You just kind of roll with what comes your way. Now, it was a sharp lesson on what to expect as an Army wife. The experience of having our first child kind of gave me an idea what to expect in the road ahead. Being an Army wife is an unusual experience. You become resilient, and you learn to accept the things that are beyond your control. We now have 4 children, and we've had many lively adventures on the way, too many to mention in this short speech. Whenever he was away, I knew that I was able to handle any situation that I would have to face, that I would be able to handle it. I was able to be a stay-at-home mom, which was awesome. And some of the things that I had to handle on my own while he was gone were tackling paying the bills, attending parent-teacher conferences by myself, attending school functions alone, having to make purchasing decisions, and he was always gone every spring break. Every year he was in the Army. And I felt like, you know what? They planned it this way. I know they did. I was always alone during spring break with the kids, which wasn't bad. It was just it was just busy, and he missed a lot of stuff during that time. And I was able to tackle all the things that I had to take care of because I was able to be a stay-at-home mom, which was awesome. And he allowed me to be able to do that, as well as his career with the Army. It gave me that opportunity to give the attention I needed to for our family so that they would have the stability that they needed because Dad was always on the run. And my honey is now a retired soldier, but I consider myself to be an Army wife. Mother of 4, I've got this. I have lived up to that title. And this has been a precious life. Even if it was something that I didn't expect, I wouldn't trade the sweet life that I've been able to have with the life that I had imagined. Thank you guys so much for your time today. I appreciate it so much. Thank you.